Hello, I'm FYXToyCat, and Minecraft just released a second new featured server in as many months, and you'll probably see it advertised on Minecraft.net, or their social media channels, or literally on the menu of the game right here with a giant red banner. Needless to say, Mojang really want you to play Mob Maze, but why is that, and is it actually any good? Well, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly that I've discovered after around 4 hours of play, and I'm going to share it with you in a review today. And so let's get started, because this video will come to you in 5 separate parts, like a turtle shell helmet, with the premise. So, if you don't know, a featured server is a part of Minecraft Bedrock. Many Java players might not be familiar with the fact that although you can add servers to Bedrock, many players choose not to do so and instead use the default servers offered by Mojang. Indeed, if you play on a console, Switch, PlayStation, or Xbox, you have no choice to add your own servers and so must play on these, and most of the old servers are kind of traditional Java-style servers, whereas Soulsteel and Mob Maze, the two newest ones, kind of function like mini-games that are just hosted online. Now, what's notable about this is that Mob Maze has a very fun premise. It is that you have been shrunk and you have to solve a maze. The moment you join the server, you are turned into a half block tool character who has to then get your way around a fairly normal sized maze, but there are puzzles to be solved, there are doors to be opened, and there are regular sized or giant mobs, depending on your perspective, that you have to get through, and you never have to fight them, but you do have to use teamwork to get the various challenges done. This server is made by Game Mode 1, who you might recognize for their various mini-games and marketplace maps. However, unlike any of those, this has no cost of admission. You do not have to pay to play, and indeed that is because the catch behind all of this constantly updating content that you can access for free is that every featured server in Minecraft has to, if they are going to charge for things, use Minecoins. So unlike Java, where you can maybe violate the EULA here and take whatever payment methods you want there, the Bedrock version of the game forces servers, if they want to be featured, to use these Minecoins. And so if you would like to get into the microtransactions, well, let's just say that will be coming up in the bad section of this video. Okay, now you know the basic premise and why this exists, it's important to talk about what the gameplay of Mob Maze actually is, because unlike a regular maze, which you usually solve yourself, this very much relies on teamwork. Like this bit between me and Minty Madness, we both had to stand on that pressure plate if we wanted to open the door. The same is true for unlocking this chest, and the same is true for this door over here. Me and the ninja pirate had to go together to make sure that we unlock it. Now, what's important is that every other part of the maze, such as opening chests, is also easier if you have people around, and the reason that you open chests or break pots is so you can get your hands on this currency that is stored in the top right. This is the currency which will allow you to buy upgrades, and is kind of the point of it, because getting through the maze is important, yes, and is one of the key things, and you've got to make sure that you do get through the maze and don't fall on spikes, like me, but what's important is getting a large number of you through the maze, because that will allow everything to be made easier. And so as you're going through this maze, you're not just getting some coins, you're not just getting progression through the maze and hopefully getting towards eventually completing one, but also, crucially, oh no, Ninja Pirate got skewered by spikes just there apparently, crucially, it's important to note, my good friend from the door is now gone. Crucially, it's important to note that it's all about collecting as much loot for yourself while making as much collective progress at the same time. It's an interesting way to divide up your individual need to get loot with the collective need to get as far through the puzzle as possible, and it is worth noting that there very much are little puzzles to get through. There's always going to be a fastest way through, but it's always fun to do things like this and work out like, oh, there's a chest up there, so if I bounce from this slime block to that slime block, in Minecraft this would never work, but on the server it does, then I can find myself an exclusive little chest. But while I do this and I get myself a nice 100-ish little qubits, or at least score for the game, it means I'm now behind and everyone else is catching ahead of me, which is something very crucial to know about. Also, Foster Tree is here with me. But yeah, it's important to note that the point of the server is to get as many qubits as possible, so you can buy upgrades so you can get as many qubits as possible, so that you can eventually complete mazes. By the way, I noticed another shortcut here. Again, one of the things I love about this that I didn't quite realize my first time through was that, like a regular maze, there always are things that you can do. And so right here, I was like, how do I get on top of that block? I use this little, it took me a moment, but you have to use this little staircase or quarter slab that's sticking out. Jump on this, use that to jump on these little sticking out bricks. You have to do a quite sneaky jump here, and then that allows you to skip a whole section of the map and find this chest up here. There are so many hidden chests, and also so many like hidden routes that you can get through, and so if you know a maze well, you do actually get this real advantage, which is interesting because over time this would become a stale concept were it not for the fact that they changed the mob mazes every every single day. In fact, at time of recording, we are a few hours away from another maze coming out, and so there is going to be a constant rotation and a reason to come back in and out. I assume that they will reuse the same, say, 3 to 7 mazes, but the fact that there is a new maze every day, it seems, or every week, is enough of a reason to make you want to come back to the server to see what another maze is like. I would no doubt eventually get bored of this maze with its giant creeper staring at me while I try to place wall down. I would eventually get bored of this maze, but right now I can just enjoy that I know where the cookie jars are. I know how to avoid the big explosive mobs, and that's good enough for me. But speaking of good enough for me, what is good about this server and also actually free? Well, let's go into it. Have you heard of Minecraft? No. Well, that's awesome. I too hope to one day play Minecraft. Same, man. Same. Mob Maze is a really well put together server, and I mean this in the most sincere of ways, that it's actually fun to play with strangers, because instead of the usual servers where you play with someone who's way better or way worse than you, such that it doesn't feel like it really matters, the co-op competitive means that you're going to have some stragglers who die in the first 60 seconds, and you're going to have some people who make it to the end of you, and it's really fun when you play with either of those people and when you solve things together. I also love that the gameplay means that if you are too far ahead of the pack, it's fun to go around and look for shortcuts and little secrets that you might not have known about, and that is the joy of the maze. It really does feel like it is a world that you can at least semi-explore, and because it's only around for a while, it's not that you explore it once and you're done with it. I have something that I'm ready to explore tomorrow, and then the next maze as well, which is a really well put together gameplay loop, like I mentioned. I also think that this is a reasonably difficult server, which is something I think is a really strong mark in the positive column. I feel like many games are made better by having a good degree of difficulty because it makes progress actually feel good. Every time I solve an extra puzzle or make it a little bit further through, with friends or without, it actually, I'm going to call them friends, but let's be honest, they're strangers on a server we can't talk to, but when we do that, it's something that is actually a real delight, and I love the way that it works. I also love that the server has multiple game modes and little secrets that you can find around. Some of it comes with silly dialogue like you just saw, but some of it is just the fact that if you want to earn these qubits real bad, you can do so by playing a little parkour challenge, or you can do so by looking around the server. I like that there is a lot to do here. It's not just basically a Minecraft map with friends, it's a rotating Minecraft map with friends and with other challenges to keep you busy if you want to grind out some of those unlocks. But speaking of unlocks, I think it's time we talk about the bad. I'll be honest, the bad is not just the one big thing you're probably thinking about, it's probably the first thing you notice after watching any gameplay. I had to specifically record this video by walking around and trying to jump as little as possible because the animations in this are really rough and buggy. When you're punching a bump, your screen is just covered in your arm, and whenever you do anything, your character moves in a really abnormal way. It's like they installed their own really off-brand version of actions and stuff, which just wasn't necessary for a Minecraft server. I think that Minecraft servers should be the blocks and the game modes and the things that you play, rather than for some reason deciding to change your animations, and that I just found something to be very rough. But I also think that it's rough when you get a bad team. There is a high variance between the teams that you get, and if you are playing with a bunch of players who have never played the game before, then you're going to have a bad time solving all of the puzzles yourself, and inevitably eventually getting trapped at a point where you need 2 people to proceed. You know how earlier I was talking about you needed 2 people to open that door? If 2 people don't make it there, your chance of a run go down, and your last few minutes have become basically wasted, which is important because this is a server that has, well, let's describe it as politely, pay to not grind. This is a server infested with Minecoins, and let me show you what I mean. So this is what you see when you log into Mob Maze. You see the maze right ahead of you, but you'll also notice 2 other headings, shops and the labs. Because you see, although the game is in theory all about the mazes, the way that it is funded is via the shops. This isn't actually a terrible thing if a game is going to be free, but what I do, or free to play rather, because it's not free if you have to pay, and what I really like about the transactions is that every single one of them will give you a choice of spending in-game currency or Minecoins. So I can spend 2,040 in this case, hopefully. Oh no, oh, okay. This takes 2,040, but also you can't purchase it if you don't have VIP. Oh, so I was wrong. When I just said right now, everything I liked about this game was that you could buy the things using in-game currency only, I was wrong. They give you the illusion you can buy things with in-game currency, but that's just not possible. So here's the deal. You need VIP, which is only purchasable using Minecoins. This will cost you 1,690, which if I can show you, please don't buy. Okay, here we go. If I can show you what 1,690 is, it takes a while because the marketplace always takes a while to load. That's £9.99, or about 12 to 13 US dollars per 30 days that you want a slight XP boost, 25%, a slight qubit boost, and indeed the additional heart to help you stay in, plus all the extra abilities to buy more things. That's right, this is a game that will cost you 120 a year if you want to enjoy it that much, plus all of the other transactions you want to buy. This isn't so bad if it's solely just a bit of XP here or a microtransaction here. Like, do I need to have an oxalotl that sits on the toilet and reads a laptop? I'm not sure that I actually do need one of those. To be entirely honest with you, I think that after 24 hours and a lot of play, I really enjoy this server, and I've got to say that the thing about it that's so addictive is the fact that because mazes are at most 15 minutes, you kind of get this one more play kind of vibe. I'll be honest, right now I'm thinking to myself, why am I finishing this review right now when I could be playing one more? I know that if I got to 80% by myself with no teammates, if I just get some competent players, I know that we could make it through, and that kind of idea is actually one that is very compelling. I think that this is a server that is well worth playing, and it might be my new favorite, even if I do fall out of it because, you know, I'm traveling next week, my first Christmas out of the country. Wow, do you care? You might not care, but in case you do, when I come back, it will still be exciting to see, like, ooh, what new maze has arrived. And I think that this was a really great surprise for Mojang, and honestly, it makes me feel a little less bitter about Soulsteel. Soulsteel being advertised on your Minecraft home screen all the time, every time, was something I was starting to get a little tired of, and so now I have something else that I'm going to get tired of, because I think that although it's great that Minecraft is promoting that this server exists, it would be good if they had a time limit, or at least if they'd stop promoting it to you after you've already played it. I mean, look at this. Why do I need to see it right here, right now? I've already played it. I'm making a video about how I played it. You know that I've just put 4 hours in. You don't need to advertise on my homepage with a giant red banner. I've already got a giant red banner on this page. I will continue to have crash outs over the marketplace, but I'll also continue to say that actually, I really do like Mob Maze. And honestly, if there's one more thing I have to say today, it's that did you know you can get the IBX Toycat Collector's Edition Founders Card right now by going to creo.com/IBXToycat. This is a limited run. We will be reducing them, just 1,000 of them, and you can only buy them for the next 30 days. And even better than that, every single one of them, except this one here, actually. Every single one of the ones that are sold will be physically shipped here, and I will sign them in person. So if you want to own a very rare piece of history, what is currently one of only 100 and something cards sold, then you can go to creocards.com/toycat. You know, go to the link down below. I said that wrong. But go there and make sure you get your hands on one, because this is a special moment in time where Minecraft featured servers are good, and where you can still get the IBX Toycat card, which is, I believe, our only merch drop we've done in 2025, and will be for some time. Anyway, with that said, jump up, and get down to play Mob Maze. I know I want to. Thank you, and wait, actually, why am I staring at the screen here? Thank you, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.